it's frequency of report, and that means how likely are you to report an experience to someone, okay? That's this axis. And this is the strangeness of the shot, okay? Over here, the strangeness of the experience. For example, you come out and everything is looking really nice, and you just feel good, and you might say that to someone. But if you came out like I did here, not on this course, but another one where they had spray painted. I don't know why they do this on some. So they had spray painted. You might say, gee, what the hell did they spray painted? But then if you came out and you had an experience like Pegasus after you were hit, and when you looked at everything, you saw everything transparent, and there was the strong impression that if you walk out there, you're going to drop through the ground. You might not report this to anybody, you know, unless you really needed help. Anyway, that's the general idea. In other words, what's the shape of the strangeness curve? This is the frequency of report, and this is the degree of strangeness. What's the shape of the curve? That's the question. Steve, you think it's like this?
Upper left to lower right.
Okay. What's another guess? I mean...
Well, I'd say it's a slope of 1 or so.
Slope of like this?
Yeah.
Okay, more and more. Okay.
I mean, it's more reported the stranger it is.
Yeah.
No, that's the likelihood of reporting it, not the frequency of reporting
The
it.
frequency of reporting.
Right.
No.
What do you say?
Frequency.
Well, is it the likelihood of reporting a strange event, or is it the frequency with which the event will get reported?
Yeah.
Because if it's a rare event, it can't be reported frequently.
Yeah.
Here's the
And the answer is...
That's your last lifeline you can use.
My wife.
But it depends how centered the person
You know,
is reporting.
you know what?
Yes.
You know, this guy's a big-time scientist. I've got to work on that. This is the... I want to say it's I know it's very important to tell me.
She's got the answer.
Yeah.
Better take the call.
Yeah, get in front of everybody. I'm not brave enough.
That's too strange.
Yeah,
That's
too strange. I've got to think about this.
Michael, I goes up and down.
Thank you. Okay, this is the curve as it's been worked on in a lot of experiments. I want to come back to this. It's funny. Anyway, the idea is this. I mean, most of our experiences that we have walking around, we don't. We all have a few friends are like this. They report everything out to you all the time. But for most of us, you're not going to remark. But there's a certain number of experiences you will talk about. But if it's very, very far out, okay, two things happen. You don't want to have people think you're crazy, and the other one is that you seal it up so fast. And when the psychologists have studied this, this tail goes way out here, and that's when you work, say, in a hypnotic state, in a hypnotic regression. You get people down deep, and suddenly they're telling you experiences that they had forgotten. This is with respect to Freud. So, what my experience has been in the, and it really got triggered by writing Golf in the Kingdom, is starting to hear experiences way out here at the end of the strangeness curve. So that's what we could bring up in our conversation. And I thought one way maybe we could start is how a couple of things you said that night in.
Well, I've been sharing since then. I had an incident after our meeting where we were Steve and I were competing up in Minnesota at the 3M championship, and in the final round, I was doing okay in the tournament. I think I was 8 under par, 1 under on the last day, and still 4 or 5 shots off the lead. And on the 11th hole, I hit this shot, and I had 132 yards to the flag. And I hit the shot, and as soon as I hit it, and I don't usually say this, but as soon as I hit it, I went, go in. And my caddy was kind of stunned by that because he knows I don't say it. And I turned to him, as the ball's in the air, I turned to him and said to him, that's the exact shot I was trying to hit. And they caught this on air. And the ball, and I've never done this in my entire life, and you can imagine how many golf shots I've hit. The ball came in and actually landed straight in the middle of the cup. On the fly, did not touch the lip, did not touch anything. There was no ball mark left. It just left completely unblemished and went right in the middle of the cup. Just a complete slam dunk. And I started thinking, you know, that was, you know, so beyond. I started, wow, what can I do here? And I birdied the next 2 holes, and suddenly I was in the lead of the tournament.
Wow.
Just like that.
And they caught you on air.
They caught me on
saying
air.
that.
Yes.
Yeah.
They caught the whole thing on air, and we've actually posted it on our website, didn't we? Didn't we get Ryan to do that? Yeah. So you can actually see the video. It's only 9 seconds long or so. But it's kind of an amazing
Isn't that something?
things that can happen in golf. I'm sure you've had some
It's involved beer in the afternoon.
But Steve, okay.
I know, I did that as my first hole-in-one ever. I was 14 years old. It was one of those halfway through.
You had 14 holes in one. And you said you had 7 in 1 year. And you said playing the Bob Hope, you had a hole in one, and your amateur partner stood up and he holed his right after you. Right on top of yours.
It was, it was
So,
a
you know,
period of time. Things were just going in the hole.
So is there, and Freddie Couples, you said recently had his first hole in one.
It was, my time frame's off. I said it was 5 years ago. It was probably about 8 to 10 years ago.
His first, yeah.
I made his first one in his life.
So it's weird that some guys get a lot of holes in one, and okay, here's another.
Well, let me put that in context. So you know how long I've been playing professional golf?
Yeah.
In 29 years, from when I turned pro until I was 40 through 49 and a half years of age, I had this many holes in one in that 29-year span in competition. Zero. And in my first competition as a 50-year-old, which happened to be tour school, I made my first, the seminar. And then it was the very next tournament I played in, I made another one.
Wow.
And then it was a couple months after that, I made a third, and I called it to my amateur partners in the prime. I said, I'm going to make this one. And it went in.
Well, that was the shot you just told us about.
No,
another one.
This is another one. So I made 3 in less than a 6-month span when I went 29 years without making
Hey, Michael, you and Jim Hickman did a whole bunch of stuff on what the general public talks about or hears about once in a while called in the zone, being in the zone.
Yeah.
In a sense, what you're talking about, right?
Well, that in the zone, when Golf in the Kingdom was published, was not a term that was used. I'm pretty sure the term came out of tennis. And it might have come from Arthur Ashe. I'm not sure. David, you might know. But it was not used. Now, in the zone, Rusty now covers a lot of phenomena. And this book of mine is called In the Zone. And Bill Bradley interviewed me once on the radio, and he said, gee, here's Mike Murphy who invented the zone. I said, well, no one invented the zone. He said, well, you named the zone. I said, no, I didn't even name it. And he said, well, what the hell did you do anyway? So anyway, but we wrote a book called In the Zone, and at that point, we had collected, I and the co-author, Ray White, 115 different kinds of far-out phenomena in sport. The publisher said, that's too complicated, can't you simplify it? So we got it down to 25 classes of experience. So, and then my big book, The Future of the Body, this is, there are hundreds of these phenomena, and we live in a culture that doesn't have a language to talk about it. Now, they happen. These things tend to happen more when people are passionately involved in something. And sport is,
holds the Western world in thrall. And so people not only give their lives to it, the way you guys, and it's interesting that it's a very broad pyramid with a very broad base. Think of the millions playing golf. And how many get up to the tour level? A few hundred. It's like the ballet or anything. So this passionate devotion, and the rest of us watch and marvel at it. And then, in these events, at times they morph into theaters of the occult. Like suddenly, the balls are bouncing and it gets weird. A lot of the fans feel this in football games and baseball games and golf tournaments when it gets... So the question, first question is, first of all, do you guys talk much about this? And if you do, is it difficult, or do you notice it, or is it an item or not?
I've certainly noticed it. I don't think there's a lot of talk about it. I can remember one instance in covering, I've been at CBS for 20 years, and covering the Masters years ago when Ben Crenshaw was winning at the Masters in '95, the week that his mentor, Harvey Pennington, died.
That's a weird thing.
And he was in the biggest slump of his career.
Yeah.
Yet on Sunday, he's charging into the lead of winning the Masters. And on the 14th hole, I'm covering the action at 14. I'm in the tower behind the green, and the 14th hole at Augusta National is the only hole without a bunker or a water hazard. And Ben hooked his drive deep into the trees, and he was way back 200 or so yards from the green. Now, the hole was located in the front right, and there's this large 8-foot mountain on the front of the green, and then the mountain goes downhill right over just a few feet, and the flagstick is